Let me ask you something. When was the last time you picked up a dollar bill off the ground? Like, actually bent down, grabbed it, and put it in your pocket? Most of you would. Obviously, it's free money. You'd feel a little lucky, maybe a little silly, but you'd take it. Now, here's the weird part. Every single day, you are dropping dollar bills on the ground and just walking past them. Not because you're careless, not because you're bad with money, but because nobody ever told you that the smallest financial decisions you make are quietly shaping your entire future. And I don't mean that in a dramatic, scary way. I mean it in a way that should actually excite you. Because if small decisions got you into this situation, feeling like there's never enough, like saving is for people who already have money, then small decisions can get you out of it too. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. $1. One tiny habit, and why it matters more than anything else your bank, or your parents, or some finance bro on the internet has ever told you. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you're not going to feel overwhelmed, you're not going to feel guilty, you're going to feel like you finally have something you can actually do. Something real. Something yours. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's set the scene. It's a Tuesday, you're tired, you stayed up a little too late, your alarm went off, and you are dragging yourself through the morning. You stop at the coffee shop because honestly, what's life without coffee? You tap your card, $4.50, fine. Whatever, you get to lunch, and you're busy, so you just grab something quick. $11. You'll cook tomorrow. After work, you're scrolling, and you see a notification. Your streaming service just charged you. Another one you forgot you still had. $8 gone. You order a snack delivery because the couch already has you. Add a delivery fee, a service fee, a tip. Ends up being like $18 for a bag of chips and a drink. And at the end of the day, you check your bank account and you feel that feeling. You know the one. That low-key anxiety, that where did it all go feeling. You made money this week. Real money. And yet somehow it already feels like it evaporated. And you think, I need to be better with money. I need to start saving. I need to get serious. And then tomorrow comes and it all starts again. Sound familiar? Because that's not a you problem. That's a design problem. Our entire modern life is engineered to make money invisible. Tap a card here, one-click purchase there, subscribe monthly, cancel anytime, and then forget to cancel. The friction of spending has been reduced to nearly zero. And when spending feels like nothing, it is nothing. Until you check your account and suddenly it's everything. But here's what nobody is talking about. Here's the thing that keeps getting skipped over in all the save 20% of your income conversations and the just budget better advice. It's not the big purchases killing your savings. It's the tiny ones you don't even notice. There's actually a name for this in psychology. It's called the latte factor, a term coined by financial author David Bach. And before you roll your eyes and say, okay, so you're telling me to stop buying coffee, just wait, because that's not what this is about. The latte is just a symbol. The latte represents every small, habitual autopilot purchase we make without thinking. Think about it this way. $5 a day, every single day, that's $1,825 a year. What if half of that, just half, was redirected into something that worked for you instead of just disappearing? You'd have over $900 sitting somewhere growing, doing something. But you never see that money because it never exists as a chunk. It exists in trickles. And trickles feel like nothing. Here's another way to look at it. $10 a week in small, forgettable spending. $10 that you genuinely cannot account for by the end of the week. That's $520 a year. That's a plane ticket. That's an emergency fund. That's something. But we don't see it that way, do we? We see it as $10, and $10 feels like nothing. This is the hidden problem. Not that we spend too much on big things, but that we've been conditioned to see small amounts as meaningless. And that conditioning, it is costing us quietly, consistently, every single day. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, okay, I know this. I've heard the advice. Track your spending, make a budget, cut out the unnecessary stuff, stop buying things you don't need. And you're right, that is the advice. And you've probably tried it, maybe multiple times. So why doesn't it stick? Because traditional financial advice treats human beings like we are robots, like we are perfectly logical, emotionally neutral, consistently disciplined creatures who just need the right spreadsheet and we'll be fine. But we are not robots. We are human beings. We are emotional. We are tired. We are stressed. We are social. We are complicated. And we make most of our financial decisions not from logic, but from feeling. Here's what happens when someone tells you to just budget. You sit down, maybe on a Sunday afternoon, and you open up a spreadsheet or an app, and you start listing your expenses. And it feels good at first. It feels productive. You feel like you're taking control. And then you look at the numbers and you realize if you cut out all the fun stuff, you'll have like $40 extra a month. $40. That doesn't feel like freedom. That feels like punishment. So you close the spreadsheet, you tell yourself you'll come back to it later, and you never come back to it. Because your brain decided, what's the point? This is called decision fatigue meets identity resistance. When the sacrifice feels bigger than the reward, humans quit. Every time. It's not weakness, it's just how we're wired. And the other thing traditional advice gets wrong, it starts with restriction. It starts with stop doing this. And restriction is the fastest way to create psychological backlash. You tell yourself you can't have something, and suddenly you want it more than you ever did before. You can't have the coffee, you can't have the delivery, you can't have the new thing, and your brain translates that into my life is shrinking, my joy is shrinking, this is unsustainable, and it quits. So what if we flipped it completely? What if instead of starting by taking something away, we started by adding something? Something so small it feels almost funny. Something so small your brain doesn't fight back. What if we started with $1? Here's the habit. Every single day, you save $1. That's it. $1, 24 hours. Every day. Now I know what you're thinking. That's it? A dollar? That's the big secret? And yes, that's it. But before you click away, just hear me out, because the dollar isn't really about the dollar. The dollar is about something much, much more powerful. Let me explain. When most people try to build a savings habit, they aim too high too fast. I'm going to save $200 a month. I'm going to save 15% of every paycheck. And that's great in theory, but for someone who currently saves zero, going from $0 to $200 isn't a habit. That's a willpower sprint. And sprints don't last. What does last is identity change. And identity change doesn't happen with giant leaps. It happens with tiny, repeated, consistent actions that slowly rewire how you see yourself. When you save a dollar today, you're not just saving a dollar. You are casting a vote. A vote for the identity of someone who saves. Someone who is in control. Someone who has a financial life that is intentional. One vote doesn't win an election. But 1,000 votes over 1,000 days, that changes everything. The $1 habit works not because of math, it works because of psychology, because it is specifically designed to be so small that you cannot make an excuse. You cannot say you can't afford it. You cannot say you'll start next month. You cannot say it's too complicated. It's a dollar, it's 20 dimes, it's 100 pennies. You have it. You have always had it. And that removes the most powerful enemy of financial change, the excuse. Let me get a little nerdy with you for a second. Don't worry, I'll keep it simple. There's this concept in behavioral psychology called habit stacking and identity-based habits, popularized by James Clear in his book Atomic Habits. And the core idea is this. The most powerful habits are not the ones tied to outcomes. They're the ones tied to identity. In other words, it's not, I want to have $1 million. It's, I am someone who manages money intentionally. The first one is a destination. The second one is who you are. And who you are is what drives what you do every single day. When you do something, anything, consistently your brain starts to associate that action with your identity. You don't go running. You become a runner. You don't write sometimes. You become a writer. You don't occasionally save money. You become someone who saves. And here's why that shift is so powerful. Once you see yourself as a saver, your decisions start to align with that identity automatically. Not because you're forcing yourself, but because that's just what people like you do. The dollar is the trigger, the consistency is the engine, and the identity is the destination. But there's another piece to this that's really important, something called the 2-minute rule. The idea is simple. If a habit takes less than 2 minutes to do, there is almost no reason your brain will resist it. It's too easy to say no to. And when you make saving money a 2-minute, or honestly, a 2-second, action, you eliminate the friction that kills most habits before they even start. Saving a dollar takes less time than it takes to scroll past one video on Instagram. Think about that. Okay, let me bring this to life. Let me show you what this actually looks like in the real world. Let me tell you about someone we'll call Maya. Maya is 26. She works in marketing, makes a decent salary, but at the end of every month, she feels broke. Not actually broke. She pays her bills, she has food, she has fun, but she has nothing saved. Zero. Her savings account might as well be a decoration. She's tried budgeting apps 3 different times. She downloaded them, set up her categories, felt motivated for about a week, and then just stopped checking. The apps still send her notifications. She ignores them. She feels guilty about money in a vague, persistent way. Like she knows she should be doing something, but she doesn't know what. And every time she tries it, feels too hard or too slow or too overwhelming. One day, she starts the $1 habit. Just $1 a day, transferred manually to a separate savings account she names Future Maya. Week 1, she does it every day. $7. She almost laughs because it feels so small. Week 2, same. $14 total. She's starting to look at the balance and feel something. Not rich, but something. Month 1, $30. She hasn't missed a single day. Month 3, $90. And something has shifted. She started noticing other small leaks. A subscription she doesn't use. A habit of buying coffee at the expensive place even when she walks past a cheaper one. Not because she's torturing herself, but because her brain is now tuned to see money differently. She's a saver, and savers notice things. Month 6, she's saved $180, and she's also, without forcing it, without making a rule, started adding a little more some days. Because the habit is now automatic, and she wants to feed it. By the end of the year, she has just over $300 in Future Maya. And for the first time in her adult life, she doesn't have that money panic. Because she has something. She has a cushion. She has proof that she can do this. Now let me tell you about someone we'll call Jordan. Jordan is 32, 2 kids, renting. Works a solid job, but there's not a lot left over at the end of the month. Every financial article he reads feels like it was written for someone who is not him. Max out your 401k. Cool. With what? Build a 6-month emergency fund. Yeah, from the money tree in the backyard? He starts the $1 habit differently. He doesn't transfer it daily. That's too much mental energy. He sets up an automatic transfer of $7 every Monday morning, 1 week at a time. It leaves before he can spend it. By month 3, he hasn't even noticed the $7 leaving. It's just gone. Except, it's not gone. It's accumulating. And something else happens. Because he's been thinking about money in small terms, he realizes he has a dead gym membership that costs $22 a month. He cancels it, and he redirects that $22 to the savings account. Now he's saving about $120 a month. Not because he budgeted, not because he restricted, but because one small habit opened a door, and he walked through it at his own pace. By the end of year 2, Jordan has over $2,000 saved. More money in savings than he has ever had at one time in his adult life. $2,000 doesn't solve everything, but it changes everything. Because it changes how he feels. He's not one emergency away from disaster anymore. He has breathing room. He has time to think instead of just react. That's what the dollar does. It's not about the dollar. It's about the door it opens. Okay, so how do you actually start this? Let me break it down as simply as humanly possible. Step 1. Open a separate savings account. Not your main account, not the one tied to your debit card. A separate account that you have to slightly inconvenience yourself to access. You can do this at your current bank. You can use apps like Ally, Marcus, or any high-yield savings account. The name matters. Call it something that means something to you. Freedom Fund. Future Me. My Out. Whatever makes you feel something when you look at it. Step 2. Decide on your method. Daily manual transfer. Every night before bed, you transfer $1. This is actually my favorite method because the act of doing it yourself creates a small daily ritual. It makes the habit tangible. Or, if daily feels like too much to remember, set up an automatic $7 transfer every Monday morning. Set it and don't touch it. Either way works. Pick the one you'll actually do. Step 3. Make it visible. Put the account on your phone's home screen. Set it as a widget so you can see the balance grow. Or write the balance on a sticky note on your bathroom mirror and update it every week. The visual element matters more than you think. What you see, you think about. What you think about, you act on. Step 4. Do not touch it. This is the rule. The money goes in, and it does not come out unless it's a genuine emergency. And by emergency, I mean the car needs a repair. Not your cart is at 30% off. This is your foundation money. Treat it like it's not yours to spend. Step 5. Don't skip more than one day. Life happens. You'll forget, you'll be busy, you'll have a crazy week. One miss is fine, just pick it right back up. 2 misses in a row can start to break the pattern. The chain matters. Protect the chain. That's it. 5 steps. You can do all 5 of these today. Not next month, not when things calm down, today. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because we started with $1. But $1 doesn't stay $1. There's a concept called habit momentum. Once a habit is automatic, once it requires no willpower because it's just what you do, your capacity for that habit naturally wants to expand. It's like how someone who walks for 30 minutes a day eventually starts jogging. Not because they planned to run, but because the foundation was there and the next step felt natural. The same thing happens with saving. After 60 days of saving $1, you will notice something. It will start to feel too easy, almost boring. And that boredom is your signal. That's your brain saying, I'm ready for the next level. At that point, you simply increase it. You go from $1 a day to $2 a day, or from $7 a week to $15 a week. Whatever feels like a genuine stretch but not a punishment. And then you stay there for another 60 days, and it becomes automatic. And then you stretch again. This is called progressive overload. It's actually a fitness term, but it applies perfectly to financial habits. You don't go from zero to running a marathon, you go from zero to the corner, then to the end of the street, then to the park, then to the mile. And one day you're running and you remember when the corner felt impossible. Let me show you what this looks like mathematically. And I promise this math is actually exciting. If you save $1 a day for the first year, $365. If you save $2 a day in year two, that's another $730. Total now, $1,095. If in year three you're saving $3 a day, that's $1,095 more. Running total, $2,190. But wait, if you're putting this in a high-yield savings account earning around 4-5% interest, your money is growing even when you're not adding to it. By year three, with compound interest, you're closer to $2,300 to $2,400, depending on the rate. And that's just cash savings. What happens if you take that same progressive habit and direct some of it into an index fund or a Roth IRA? Let's say by year three, you're comfortable saving $5 a day. That's $150 a month. If you put $100 of that into an S&P 500 index fund that historically returns around 10% annually, in 10 years, without adding anything more, that money has the potential to grow to over $15,000. From $100 a month that started from a single dollar a day. Now look, markets fluctuate. Numbers aren't guaranteed. But the point isn't to make you a promise. The point is to show you what's possible when small, consistent action meets time. Time is the ingredient most people don't think about because they're focused on the right now. But time is literally the most powerful financial asset you have, especially in your 20s and 30s. And every month you don't start is a month of compounding you never get back. The rich don't get rich by saving big chunks. They get rich because they started, and then they let time do the heavy lifting. I want to talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough when it comes to money. And that's the emotional side, the psychological relationship you have with wealth, with savings, with what money means to you. Because here's the truth. Most of us don't have a money problem. We have a money story, a story we tell ourselves, often without realizing it. I'm not good with money. People like me don't save. Rich people are just lucky, or born into it, or ruthless. I'll start when I make more. It's too late anyway. These aren't facts. They feel like facts because we've been telling them to ourselves for years, maybe since childhood. But they are stories, and stories can be rewritten. The $1 habit is not just a saving strategy. It is a story editing tool. Every single day that you save that dollar, you are adding a new line to your story. A line that says, I am someone who makes intentional choices. I am someone who has control. I am someone who thinks about tomorrow. And over time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, that new story starts to drown out the old one. Not because you forced it, but because you built evidence. Because you showed yourself repeatedly that you can do this. This is the thing about confidence. A lot of people are waiting to feel confident before they act. But that's backwards. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. You don't feel brave and then do the scary thing. You do the scary thing and then feel brave. Start saving before you feel ready. Start when it feels pointless. Start when the number feels embarrassingly small. Because the starting is what creates the feeling you're waiting for. And here's the other shift I want you to make. Stop thinking of saving as sacrifice. That framing kills motivation every single time. Saving isn't punishment. Saving is redirecting. You are taking money that was going to disappear into things that gave you maybe 10 seconds of satisfaction. A vending machine snack, a forgotten subscription, an impulse click, and you are giving it to yourself instead. The future version of yourself. The version of you who might need a car repair next month, who wants to travel next year, who doesn't want to panic every time an unexpected bill shows up. You are not depriving yourself. You are investing in yourself. And that single mindset shift changes how saving feels entirely. Think about money as energy. Every dollar you spend is energy going somewhere. Every dollar you save is energy waiting for you. When you spend with intention, you direct your energy. When you save, you store it. And having stored energy, having a financial cushion, gives you something that no spending can ever give you. Options. Options are freedom. Options mean you can say no to the job that's making you miserable because you have 3 months of expenses in savings. Options mean you can handle the emergency without going into debt. Options mean you can look at opportunities, a course, a trip, a side business, and actually take them instead of just watching them pass. That's what the dollar is building. Not just money, options, freedom, control. Let me ask you something honest. What would your life look like in 2 years if you started this today? Not if you won the lottery, not if you got a big raise, just if, starting today, you saved $1 every single day and didn't stop. 2 years from now, you'd have saved $730. More if you scaled up, more if you put it somewhere it could grow. But even at the base level, $730 you don't currently have. $730 sitting there, quietly, patiently, working for you. And more importantly, you would have 2 years of proof, 2 years of a new story, 2 years of being someone who does this. And that version of you, that version doesn't look at their bank account and feel ashamed. They look at it and feel proud. Not because the number is huge, but because the number is there. And it wasn't before. You don't need more income to start. You don't need to be debt-free first. You don't need a perfect budget. You don't need to understand the stock market or know what an ETF is or have a financial advisor. You need $1, and you need to do it today, not tomorrow morning, not on the 1st of next month, not after the holidays. Today. Because here's the thing, and this is the truest thing I'm going to say in this entire video. Tomorrow is a feeling, not a date. Tomorrow is the place where good intentions go to disappear. Every "I'll start tomorrow" you have ever said has turned into another today where you didn't. And every today you don't start is a day of momentum you don't get back. But the flip side of that is equally true. Every today you do start, that's a day of momentum you keep. A vote for the new story, a link in the chain. The people you see who seem like they have it together financially, who aren't stressed about money, who take the trip, who handle the emergency without crumbling, they are not smarter than you. They don't make more than you. They just started, and they didn't stop. That's the whole secret. Start, don't stop. $1, one day. One identity, you are not too broke to start. You are not too young or too old. You are not too far behind. You are exactly where you need to be to take the next step, which is the smallest possible step, which is $1. And I genuinely believe, not as a thing I'm supposed to say, but as something real, that if you do this, if you actually open that account today and transfer your first dollar, something inside you will shift. It won't be dramatic. It might not feel like anything at all, but something will have changed. You will have become, for the first time, or maybe for the first time in a long time, someone who takes care of themselves financially. Someone who chooses their future. Someone who decides, and that person, they can do a lot more than save a dollar. They can build wealth, real, lasting, actual wealth. Not because they had the perfect plan, but because they started with the smallest possible habit and they let it grow. The $1 habit is not the destination, it's the door. And the door is open. Walk through it. If this resonated with you, if any part of this made you think, okay, maybe I can actually do this, then do me a favor. Don't just think it. Open your banking app, transfer $1. Right now, while you're feeling it, before the feeling fades. That's all. Just $1, and come back and tell me how it goes.
I hope this helps you achieve your financial goals. Remember to hit that subscribe button for more tips, and I'll see you next time.